Marwan, I'll start off with a question about Tim Sheens. So, how pleased, how proud are you to have him on board?
I'm absolutely delighted. By the way, he came over last time. He came over for a month, and the relationship, the whole experience was very, very beneficial for the club, me, Justin, and the players. And now that he's back, we're going to be back within a week or two. We are really looking forward to it, and I have no doubt whatsoever that he will benefit the club in many, many ways, in players recruitment, development of youth, helping Justin. It's going to be awesome having him around again.
You mentioned the benefits to yourself personally that he had. How much of that are we seeing at the moment in the changes and the little effects that are taking place at the Salford Red Devils?
I think I've made mistakes, right? Had I had access to somebody like Tim in the past, some of those mistakes would not have been made. There's no point now looking back at the past. We could only look forward to the future and making sure that we don't make the same mistakes. And I want to start seeing the club grow, on and off the field.
And today, obviously, a couple of players, and in particular Kevin Locke, we've talked about in the press conference inside. First and foremost, how disappointed are you that hasn't worked out for the club? Because when he came over, there was a great deal of excitement and potential about the move.
I am very, very disappointed for our fans. But at the end of the day, I can't make Kevin Locke make the relationship work. There's always, when you enter into a contract with somebody, you deliver services and we deliver obligations. In terms of our obligations to Kevin, we have always delivered it in full. His salary has been paid in full, and in some cases in advance. So for him to come out now and say that the club owes his money is very, very disappointing. But what's even more disappointing to the fact that he has been here for 12 months and we haven't seen a return on our money or our investment in him. I mean, he's probably was the highest paid Super League player in the world, and we didn't see the old Kevin Locke in the last 12 months.
You addressed a number of issues, a wide range of issues in the press conference. In your eyes, have you achieved what you set out to today when you walked in there?
I very much so. First of all, I just needed to make it absolutely clear that me as an owner, Salford as a club, will always honor our obligation towards the players. Listen, since the day I've arrived, the only time or times the players weren't paid on time is when they were paid early. Yeah, this month they're not going to be paid on time, i.e. on the 30th of June, because they were paid on the 18th of June, right? And we also have the facility for players to come and ask for an advance, but the advance needs to be repaid. And I think, some people need to understand, or some players that need to understand, if you take an advance, you need to pay it back.
Do you feel you've still got that rapport with the players? Because obviously there's not just one or two. There's a couple who have not been happy with what's gone on. Do you still feel you've got a strong connection with the majority of players?
I have fantastic relationship with the players. I think days before the Wigan game, because of all the bad publicity that's been coming out, I went into the room. I asked to speak to the players and the players alone, and listen, they don't need assurances about their wages, because none of them have ever had his wages being paid late. I've told them about ways of going forward, etc. Not that they needed to be motivated, but they felt very motivated. And look, the performance they put out against Wigan, they gave an answer themselves to all the bad publicity that's been coming out.
How do you think events like today, press conferences like today, are perceived throughout the rest of Super League and within the dressing room as well? Do you think the players view you coming into the room, and sure you got a few laughs, but how do you think they see that?
In terms of what?
Do you feel it's is it healthy for the club, for the players to to be watching that, I suppose, from the front rooms this afternoon when they get home?
Well, I mean, I'm sure the players, all of them, will appreciate that the owner had to come out has to come out and give this our side of the story.
The honesty.
And the honesty, listen, it's okay for somebody to go out and say, the club owes me £53,000 or whatever the figure is. I need to go back and speak to the press and say, no, this is not the case, and this is the proof. So the players would expect me to go out, because there's absolutely nothing. And by the way, the players knew that I was doing the press conference.
And on a financial point of view as well, you touched on, I'm not going to go into the numbers and the details, but
You better not.
but the money side of things is going forward. Have you got the, obviously you're missing some funds there, or you say you're missing some funds. Does that affect the recruitment policy going forward?
No, it doesn't affect the recruitment policy, but I ain't going to stand and watch other people take money out of my club when they're not putting the support they have promised. And I'm talking about the council here.
So you are in the market for a marquee player, because that's the kind of player that Salford have come to be.
Absolutely, we are, and it will be down to Tim and Yeston to decide who it's going to be.
And yourself involved as well?
I think they'll kick me out of that selection process. I could suggest, but it will be down to them.
So finally, how glad to have it all off your chest today and to move on now.
Delighted, absolutely delighted, and I just wanted to give my side of the story. I could have done it on Twitter, but I think coming out today, I was angry. I was emotional at times. But I don't think I swore many times, did I? No. I was relatively clean, but at least, I gave my side of the story, and that's it. That's the end of it.